Welcome to Abstract Cafe, where ideas take shape, thoughts find depth, and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. One of his advocacy is to have adventurous mindset, and of course, the author of the book "The Road Spoke," no other than Mr. Ken Reinke. Welcome, Mr. Ken on Abstract Essay. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Well, yes, sir, Mr. Daniel Lucas. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm author of one book, but many adventures. And so I'm just doing another one right now, being
Great.
on the essay.
Yes. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Ken. And today let's talk about adventurer's mindset. How would you distinguish an adventurer mindset from simply being a tourist or a thrill seeker? What are the components?
Well, that's a good question. I think that I've always had an adventurous mindset, so I like to do different things that take more energy than a normal, say, vacation, and also with less comforts involved.
Less comfort. I like it. Just like your book, The Road Spoke, right?
Yes, I certainly address it in there because it's important for an adventurer to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
I like that. What does the initial call feel like? Is it a voice of curiosity, discontent, or something else that pushes someone to step out the door?
Oh, yeah, certainly curiosity and a willing to face, you know, discomfort and to also live in the moment.
To live in the moment, yes, for sure. Is the goal to eliminate fear or to develop a different relationship with it? Or how do you turn fear from stop sign into a compass?
Oh, I've been doing this so long that fear hardly enters into it. You do want to be somewhat fearless. In fact, I don't think you can strike out on adventure with a lot of fear inside you. So um, it requires a fearlessness.
Mm. It requires for sure. Don't be afraid, people. Don't be afraid. If your mindset is to go on adventures, please do so. Life is too short, right, Mr. Gan?
Absolutely. You know, you want to keep your expectations to a minimum, and that way it's way more difficult to be disappointed. So you're expecting the unexpected, and you're not filled with um, anticipation.
We often think adventures require lots of money and time. What is the true currency of adventure, and how can someone invest in the right now, their current life? Right now.
Yes, that's a cool question because all of my traveling, I've hitchhiked across the United States several times, and I've traveled to 30 countries, backpack traveling, and all of that is has been low budget because I've never been overwhelmed with money, and I just set out and make do along the way.
Yes, interesting. And congratulations, Mr. Ken, for while following your adventures? What the balance between meticulous planning and necessity for leaving room for unknown? How do you prepare without scripting the magic out of an adventure?
Uh, so that's also very cool. My book, The Road Spoke, takes place over the course of a 3,700 mile journey by bicycle from Florida to Port Townsend, Washington, over 77 days. And not 1 mile of it was scripted. I I start off with maps and Google Maps bicycle, and I do it alone. So if I get lost, I'm not making anyone else be lost. And you get lost lots, and you expect it. And over the course of that particular journey, for instance, there were two places where I was expecting a bridge, but there wasn't any. And so it's just part of the adventure of not having even a route scripted. I just headed northwest.
Hmm. So, Mr. Ken, how does the decision of making process look like in the face of for the unknown? How do you take calculated the risk versus reckless?
Well, it's important, like I said earlier, to not get your expectations up. So I had no idea when I was going to end up in Port Townsend, Washington. And I had some waypoints. I had some friends in Mississippi. And when I got there after, I don't know, 10 or 12 days, then my next friend stop was Denver, which was
Mm.
about 1,000 miles. And if, and for me, it's just like, okay, 1,000 miles to Denver. So what? Let's go.
Yes. Let's go. I like the spirit, Mr. Ken. Let's go. Beyond specific physical skills, what are the most important mental or emotional tools someone should pack for any adventure, or big or small?
Well, I think, this adventurous mindset works for life. Life is an adventure, and sometimes that gets lost to us because we're dealing in the mundane and then thinking about past and future. But when I set out on these adventures, this is my second trip across the country. Um, I I don't think of the destination. Every day is the essence of the trip each day. And I don't actually look for campgrounds in advance.
Hmm.
So it's uh, no plan, the no plan man.
No plan indeed. Just go, go, go for the adventure. And Mr. Ken, what the hardest part is often starting. What is your advice for someone who feels stuck, overwhelmed, or underqualified to begin their first adventure?
In order to feel any of those things, you're no longer living in the moment. And so setting out, for me, it's not a problem because I've lived a life more or less of adventure. Heck, I even went up and worked in Alaska for several decades. So um, you can't future think too much. Honestly, even in a normal life, which is an adventure, um, you pay attention to what your mind is doing. And I don't mean listen to it, I mean pay attention to what it's doing.
Hmm. Interesting, Mr. Ken. And adventures are often miserable in the moment, but glorious in retrospect. How do you navigate those miserable moments while you are in them?
So, honestly, it's a little bit easy because if you're living in the moment without expectations, without judgments, and I mean living in the moment, then even the stuff that doesn't go well is just fine. For instance, in Alabama, one night I got rained out of my campsite. I got flooded, and everything that I had was wet, and I was laying in a sleeping bag full of wet feathers. But you get up and deal with that situation and never call it a problem. It's just a situation. That's, I guess, a high recommendation that I would put out there. They're not problems, they're situations.
Mr. Ken, how can someone cultivate an adventurous mindset through small daily and local micro adventures without needing to summit a mountain?
Well, I, for one thing, you adjust your mindset. That's the most important. And you find that you'll be able to live without comfort and convenience, which is usually involved in an adventure. So, small adventure, not much comfort. It's honestly for me anymore. The if it, I don't like luxury.
Hmm.
I feel it's a waste of money because you can be happy without all of that. And if you're living in the moment, you will be happy without all of that.
Mr. Ken, how does the adventurer's mindset change when you have alone versus when you are with partner or team? What makes a great adventure partner?
Well, anyone who can live without a lot of comforts and willing to meet the moments as they show up, that's key. I travel most of the time alone, on especially bicycle travel. I do my bicycle trips alone, but an important thing there is alone is not lonely. Again, alone is a situation, and loneliness is a state of mind. It's something that you do to yourself. So, being able to recognize that, and a partner, travel partner who can recognize that, uh, makes for a great travel companion.
Hmm. Great travel companion indeed. And Mr. Ken, how does the mindset you adopt in the wild, resilience, problem solving, and presence translate back to your everyday life, career, and relationships?
Uh, I promise that if you adopt these things that I've just suggested, your life will be better right away. They all translate beautifully to a life well lived.
A well life live. I like that, Mr. Ken. And is the act of telling a story of adventure, whether of friends or just your own journal, a crucial part of the process? How does it cement the learning?
I've traveled so much that I can generally tell terrific stories about lots of different things. Um, though, in this book, The Road Spoke, I'm trying to include this philosophy of how to make life better. And it's set over the course of this uh, bicycle trip. But I didn't want, I was thinking of my readers and I wanted the story of the bicycle trip to be the base. But I also uh, include stories from my world travels. So there's snippets, there's little parts in the book, the highlights of my world travels. So there's a thread that runs through the whole book, and it's the philosophy of living a more joyful, uh, a, just a better life, easier life, in fact.
A better life. In a world of comfort, convenience, and screen time, why is it cultivating an adventurous spirit more important than ever on mental and physical well being?
No, that's a terrific question. All of those things you mentioned are unnecessary. So uh, I I'm telling you, I live a joyful life now without television and without a lot of comforts. I just do not need them, and neither do my readers need them, but they might not realize that.
Hmm. Yes, for sure. So, how do you define successful adventure, Mr. Khan?
Uh, um, Enjoying it regardless of what comes along. And that's possible. That's the philosophic thread that runs through the road spoke. And interestingly, when I was writing this book, I had to take that thread out to make sure that nothing was missing. So I took that whole thread out and read it as a story in itself and then put it back in so there weren't big gaps.
Hmm. Big gap for sure. And Mr. Ken, as you've grown and more experiences, how have your personal adventures changed? Do you seek different kinds of challenges now?
I certainly do now because now I'm older. I I can't ride my bike loaded anymore. So it's time for that. I have to give up my backpack biking adventures, but I still ride my bike all the time.
Hmm. Yes. So, what has been your greatest adventure to date? And it was one of the covered the most miles, or one that taught you the most about yourself?
Well, I mean, I've spent months traveling in. I like the developing countries better. Like, I'm not so excited about Europe, but I like Indonesia and Malaysia and India and those places that really bring adventure to the forefront.
Yes, for sure. And Mr. Ken, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, my other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, a comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well, geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast, Law 101 and mental health 101. Love Letters in third season, and Movie 101 Review, Music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Ken, where does the adventurous mindset point you next? What are the challenges or adventure on your horizon that feels both exciting and slightly terrifying?
Well, given how difficult it is for me to get around now, I'm planning on spending a month in the Philippines. So that's probably my next big adventure.
Awesome, the Philippines indeed, Mr. Ken Reinke. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your book, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Sure. The Road Spoke is available on Amazon and anywhere books are sold. And I would recommend when you're wanting to go out on an adventure, uh, love the journey, not the destination.
Yes, love the journey, people, and enjoy it. So, Mr. Ken, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, and people, let's support Mr. Ken Reinke. Please buy the book, The Road Spoke. Available where books are sold. More to come, people. See you soon.